From the moment we met, I knew there was no affinity between us. There's no room in this place for a creature like you. A woman bearing a child, return to where you belong. On the day of my brother's wedding, my sister-in-law unleashed a torrent of insults upon me. It was meant to be a joyous occasion, one where I yearned to share in the happiness, yet her words cut deep. Unable to endure such treatment any longer, I made the difficult decision to abstain from attending the ceremony. My name is Elizabeth, age 30. I juggle part-time employment with managing household duties. 3 years ago, I married my husband Robert, who is 2 years my senior. He works as a buyer and salesperson at major department store. Robert's fresh appearance contributes to his strong sales performance at the department store. Having always wanted children, we went through fertility treatments and were overjoyed when we finally conceived our first child. I was especially thrilled to have a child with the man I love, and I couldn't wait to share the news with him. When I told Robert, he was ecstatic. "Robert, it looks like we've been truly blessed." "Really? Does that mean?" "Yes, it's really happening. We're going to have a baby." "Seriously?" I'm so overwhelmed with joy. I can't stop crying. My husband's tears mirrored my own, expressing his gratitude as he embraced me tightly. From that moment on, we eagerly anticipated the arrival of our little one, each day filled with excitement and expectation. But there was someone else eagerly awaiting the birth, my own brother Thomas. 4 years my senior, Thomas has cherished me since childhood, a bond that remains unbreakable. Even as adults, our sibling bond remains strong. He was aware of our struggles with infertility, so when I shared the news of my pregnancy, his joy matched that of my husband's, tears included. I've heard that our mother back home was so thrilled by the news that she was left utterly speechless. Whether it was my marriage or now my pregnancy, my brother has always wanted the best for me. I hold my brother in the same high regard. 2 months into my pregnancy, my brother reached out to speak with me. "What did you want to talk about, Thomas?" I asked directly, noticing his hesitant demeanor. He scratched his head nervously and replied, "Well, I'm getting married." "Married? Really, Thomas?" My brother attended an all-boys school for middle and high school, then studied at a male-dominated science department at university, so the fact that he might have a girlfriend had never crossed my mind. Despite our parents' suggestions for arranged meetings to set him up with a woman, he always declined. I think he's quite handsome, but his reserved nature in the past may have limited his chances with women. So hearing that he's getting married now is a shock I can't hide. "I imagine this is a surprise," he said. "I know it seems sudden." "Definitely. So who's the lucky woman?" "She's 3 years younger than me, so just 1 year older than you, Elizabeth. Her name is Rebecca, and we met through work." "Really? What's her connection to your job?" "Well, she's the daughter of the president of one of our business partners." "The president's daughter? That's incredible. It sounds like something straight out of a movie." I gasped in astonishment, and my brother chuckled. "You're making a big deal out of this." Even though she comes from such a background, she's putting in the work at her father's company. We're both getting older and thought it was the right time to take this step. Seeing my brother so earnest about his future warmed my heart. He, who has always hoped for my happiness, has finally found someone special to share his life with. The thought made me feel as if I were celebrating my own good fortune. A month later, my brother introduced his fiancée to us in our apartment. "Nice to meet you. I'm Rebecca, your brother's fiancée." Rebecca, my brother's fiancée, exuded elegance and sophistication, clearly embodying the image of a career-driven woman. Observing her poised demeanor, I couldn't help but feel like we came from entirely different worlds. "Nice to meet you, Rebecca. I'm Elizabeth, the younger sister," I greeted her. "Ah, the little sister," she responded, casting a quick glance over me. For a moment, it felt as though her gaze pierced right through me, though I brushed it off as mere imagination. Yet, it soon became apparent that my intuition was accurate. Throughout our interaction, she directed minimal attention towards me, instead focusing her conversation on my husband. "Robert, your work as a salesperson at that esteemed department store is truly impressive," she remarked, engaging him in conversation. Caught off guard, my husband responded awkwardly, "Ah, well, thank you. I haven't had the chance to shop recently. Would you mind recommending something suitable for me next time I visit?" she inquired, her attention firmly fixed on him. "Of course, thank you. We'll be looking forward to your visit." It was evident that Rebecca treated my husband and me differently. It seemed she might be trying to flirt with my husband. Still, I didn't want to dampen the mood, especially since my brother had chosen her as his partner. Just as my brother wished for my happiness, I wanted him to find joy as well. I couldn't let something as minor as her distant demeanor towards me affect my brother's happiness. Despite my concerns, I kept quiet. From then on, Rebecca started frequenting the department store where my husband works. That day, my husband came home and let out a sigh of frustration. Rebecca stopped by my section again today. Again. She was there just yesterday too, wasn't she? Yeah, she's buying quite a bit, which is fine, but, even when I'm assisting other customers, she interrupts without any regard. It's causing inconvenience for the other sales staff as well. So it's becoming a bit of a hassle, you know. That does sound challenging. According to my husband, each time she visits, Rebecca makes purchases worth thousands of dollars. While it's beneficial for the store, my husband expressed concern. Despite her status as the president's daughter, her spending habits might raise some red flags. Several months later, the eagerly awaited day of my brother's wedding finally arrived. At that point, I was well into the later stages of my pregnancy, my belly prominently showing. It was a once-in-a-lifetime occasion for my dear brother. I was certain it would be a beautiful ceremony. I felt a rush of excitement as I left the house, adorned in a maternity party dress I had purchased specifically for this special day. The situation unfolded when I arrived at the venue and approached the reception desk. I'm Elizabeth Smith, the groom's sister, and this is my husband, Robert. When I provided my name to the receptionist, she seemed confused. Are you the groom's sister? Yes, I'm Thomas Harris's sister, I confirmed. That's odd, she responded. Then she said something unexpected. We were told that the groom's sister wouldn't be attending. What? That can't be right. I'm his sister. Of course I'm here. Well, we were informed that the groom's sister had other commitments and wouldn't be coming. Hold on, there must be some mistake. My husband and I were both planning to attend. Mr. Smith is listed as a guest and is confirmed. The cancellation only applies to you, the sister. Huh. I found myself at a loss for words, stunned by this unexpected twist. Turning to the receptionist, my husband inquired, "Who informed you that my wife wouldn't be attending?" "It was the bride," came the reply. "Rebecca," my husband questioned, a hint of suspicion creeping into his voice. As he sensed something amiss, his expression hardened. "Could you please fetch Rebecca?" he requested firmly. Shortly after, Rebecca and a woman who appeared to be her mother approached us, confirming the unsettling truth. I confronted Rebecca directly. "Rebecca, what's going on? Am I marked as absent?" "Well, it seems that's the situation," she responded nonchalantly. "Wait just a minute. I never once indicated that I wouldn't be attending," I protested, incredulous. With a sneer, she retorted, "Your presence is of no concern to me. Elizabeth isn't coming because you're nothing but trouble. Understand?" "Huh? What are you talking about? Let's be clear from the start. I've never cared for you. You parade around as if you're superior just because you have a decent-looking husband and brother. From the moment we met, I've despised you. Your plain appearance doesn't match your lofty name, Elizabeth. You're nothing but an obstacle to my happiness, guide." I had sensed her coolness towards me, but I never anticipated such deep-seated hatred. Stunned, I struggled to find my voice. She glared down at me, her words cutting like ice. "Didn't I make myself clear? You're nothing but trouble. There's no room here for a pregnant eyesore like you, so leave." I stood speechless, but the shock didn't end there. To my astonishment, even her mother began spewing venomous words that I found hard to believe. "Rebecca is right. Having someone as unattractive as you at Rebecca's wedding is a hassle. It's unfortunate enough for Rebecca to be associated with you." Rebecca turned to me, my face pale, and continued, "Leave now. You're just getting in the way. You're an eyesore, an ugly pregnant woman." In that moment, the anger I had been suppressing surged within me. Just as I was about to respond, my husband intervened. "How dare you speak to my wife like that? I never imagined Rebecca could be so disrespectful." "Let's go home, Robert. It's not worth it," I said. "Are you sure?" "I don't want to stay here any longer. Let's go," I insisted, tugging my husband's arm as we made our exit from the venue. Good riddance, came the parting shot from Rebecca and her mother, their insults trailing behind us. A few hours later, my brother hurried to our home, His expression weighted with regret. "Elizabeth, Robert, I'm truly sorry for Rebecca's behavior," he'd apologized. "It's not your fault, Thomas. How did the rest of the wedding unfold?" I inquired. I decided to ask the guests to leave midway through. I couldn't bear to continue the ceremony after what happened to my dear sister. That was a wise decision. But why did Rebecca harbor such animosity towards me? Well, I was taken aback when I heard what happened too. "Huh," I responded, unsure of where he was going with this. My brother spoke in a hushed tone. "It appears Rebecca has been jealous of you, Elizabeth." "Jealous? We've always been close as siblings, right? Plus, Robert is quite attractive, and seeing you so happy and expecting a child seemed to bother her." "Why would that be a problem?" "She was making extravagant purchases at my husband's department store because she finds him attractive." I was speechless at the absurdity of it all. I said, incredulous. Though my brother seemed concerned about me, he went on with the story. "Rebecca was upset that your pregnancy would draw more attention to you than to her on her wedding day. She couldn't bear the thought of guests coming up to you and asking questions like, 'How far along are you?' or telling you, 'You look so happy.' I can't believe she would react that way over such a trivial matter." It seems my brother, consumed by his work, had entrusted all the wedding planning to Rebecca. Whenever he tried to offer input, he was shut down with, "The bride is the focus of the day," leaving him unable to intervene. As a result, he was unaware that she had decided unilaterally to exclude me from the event. "I'm deeply sorry that my decisions have hurt you," my brother said, bowing his head in apology. The following day, my mother asked us to come home, so my husband and I hurried back. When we arrived, Rebecca's father was already there, his face flushed with anger, and Rebecca and her mother trailing behind him. He appeared quite serious. "Rebecca, don't you have something to say to Elizabeth?" he asked sternly. When prompted by her father, Rebecca clicked her tongue and erupted in protest. "Why should I apologize? I was the center of attention at the wedding. When will you stop this nonsense?" Her mother quickly backed her up, agreeing with Rebecca's outburst. "Exactly. There's no reason for Rebecca to apologize. It's all this woman's fault." Both Rebecca and her mother openly expressed their displeasure, showing no signs of remorse. Then her father, visibly trembling, found his voice. "Who do you think you're speaking to? How dare you utter such words to these individuals?" he exclaimed, his tone filled with outrage. With that, he bowed deeply before us. "I am profoundly sorry for the despicable actions of my daughter and wife. Please, I implore you, find it in your hearts to forgive us for this grievous incident." Despite his earnest pleas, forgiveness was not something I could offer easily. I spoke plainly. "Do you truly expect us to forgive you? We were unable to attend our dear brother's wedding after enduring such mistreatment. How can we possibly forgive you? But if you don't forgive us, it will cause significant trouble for our company," Rebecca's father interjected, revealing his true motives behind the apology. Rebecca's father owns a wholesaler company that deals in imported goods and maintains a business relationship with my brother's company. However, my brother was incensed by the recent events and requested that his employer cut ties with Rebecca's father's business. This is why her father is now pleading for my forgiveness, hoping to salvage the business relationship with my brother's company. I hadn't realized just how much influence my brother's company held. Despite Rebecca's status as the president's daughter, my brother appeared to hold more power in this situation. Her father continued to apologize profusely, bowing his head repeatedly, but it was clear his primary concern was safeguarding his company, which only deepened my dissatisfaction. Realizing the conversation was going nowhere, I firmly told Rebecca and her family, "I won't interact with you any further. If you proceed with marrying my brother, I will sever ties with him as well." "Hold on. My dad is apologizing profusely. Don't you have any sympathy?" Rebecca shouted at me, her tone laced with anger. "Sympathy? You dare bring that up? You're the one who caused this whole mess. Who should really be apologizing here? Stop allowing your father to debase himself. Your selfishness ruined my brother's happiness. You're not suitable for him. Know your place." After her tirade, I threw Rebecca and her family out of my parents' house. Not long after, I heard that my brother and Rebecca had called off their engagement. She protested loudly, unwilling to end things, but in the end, my brother had to involve a lawyer. He also arranged for a settlement paid to me. Though I initially hesitated to accept it, My brother insisted, saying it's the least I can do to apologize. So I accepted his offer with gratitude. Rebecca's family's misfortune deepened, and her father's company eventually declared bankruptcy. It seems that losing business with my brother's company, which was a critical part of their operations, left them unable to stay afloat. They lost everything because of their actions, and in retrospect, it seems fitting given their behavior. Someone like Rebecca, who could so easily hurl cruel insults, ultimately faced the consequences of her actions. Meanwhile, I have given birth safely and am enjoying a happy life. My brother has recovered from the end of his engagement, and he visits me almost every day to spend time with my daughter and shower her with affection. Robert, may I hold her for a bit? But you just had her not too long ago. Please, I'll be leaving in an hour. All right, I suppose I can let you. My husband and brother were taking turns holding our precious newborn daughter. As I listened to their heartwarming exchange, I couldn't help but feel a sense of warmth and contentment.